Hello everybody, welcome to Action PC Baseball. This is RJL 518 and we welcome you to Veterans Stadium for tonight's game between the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. Ron Darling will take the mound for the Mets. He'll be making his first start of the year. He'll be opposed by Kevin Gross for Philadelphia. He's also making his first start. It's 63 degrees, clear, and the winds are calm as we welcome you here to the old Veterans Stadium. And yes, people, I don't care if you are a Phillies fan or not, but this stadium was a dump. Should have been blown up years ago. Philadelphia probably should never have left Scheid Park to go ahead and play in this place. But it's another one of those cookie-cutter stadiums that baseball had all over the place that year. You know, as I said, but we played in Three Rivers. If you look at Three Rivers Stadium and then you look at Veterans Stadium, they pretty much look alike. Along with Riverfront Stadium, along with Busch Stadium, you know, they all look pretty much. You know, Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium, they all look alike. I don't know. The baseball was pretty much cookie-cutter year at that time. Let's take a look at let's play some baseball, shall we? The Mets are playing the Phillies. The Mets are 1-0. The Phillies are 2-0. And this is April 11th, 1986. The starting pitcher for the Phillies will be Kevin Gross. Excuse me. He had a 4.02 ERA. He was 12-12, and he had 154 strikeouts in 1986. This is his first start of the year. Leading off for the Mets here in the top of the first will be Lenny Dykstra. But let's take a look, of course, at the Mets lineup. It'll be Dykstra batting first, Backman batting second, Hernandez batting third. The kid, Gary Carter, bats fourth. Darryl Strawberry will bat fifth. Danny Heap will bat sixth. It will be Howard Johnson batting seventh, Rafael Santana batting eighth, and Ron Darling batting ninth. This is the actual lineup from the Mets game against the Phillies that day. Let's take a look at the starting fielders for the Philadelphia Phillies. We have Von Hayes, who bat pretty good first baseman the Phillies had in their tenure. Juan Samuel will be at second base. Steve Jeltz is the shortstop. And then, of course, there's a Hall of Famer there at third base who goes by the name of Mike Schmidt, maybe one of the top 5 third basemen in history. You have Glenn Wilson in right field, Milt Thompson in center field, Gary Redus in left. Behind the plate is Darren Daulton, and on the mound for the Phillies is Kevin Gross. We go to the top of the first inning. Dykstra will be the first batter. And here's the pitch. And Dykstra grounds one to Jeltz, who pretty much throws him out at first, and we have one out. One down, and now we'll see Wally Backman starting off 1 for 4 for the year. Backman grounds one to Samuel, who gets the toss to first base, and that will be the second out. And now Keith Hernandez. Keith Hernandez 2 for 4. He has a run scored already for the year, making his second start of the season. And here is the pitch from Kevin Gross. And Hernandez hits a high fly ball, but Glenn Wilson is there to make the play. So nothing across. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Phillies, as Redus will bat first, Thompson will bat second, Samuel will bat third, Mike Schmidt will bat fourth. We have Wilson batting fifth, Von Hayes batting sixth, Darren Daulton batting seventh, Steve Jeltz batting eighth, and Gross will bat ninth. And taking a look at the defense for the Mets, Keith Hernandez at first, Wally Backman at second, Rafael Santana shortstop, Howard Johnson in third. They have Danny Heap in left, Lenny Dykstra in center, Darryl Strawberry in right, Gary Carter behind the plate, and on the mound, Ron Darling. In 1986, 2.81 ERA, he had 15 wins and 6 losses. He had 184 strikeouts. This was a heck of a tandem the Mets have. So you go from Gooden, and then you go to Ron Darling. That really makes things really interesting here. Leading off for the Phillies will be Gary Redus. The Phillies have already played 2 games so far. The Mets had 2 rainouts against Pittsburgh. So that's as we're playing the as-played schedule. So that's why the Mets are only playing their second game of the season, and the Phillies are playing their third. Gary Redus already off to a .364 batting average in the replay, but he batted .247 with 11 home runs, 33 RBIs in 1986. Darling with the pitch, and Ritas lifts one to left, but Heap is there, 1 out. Take a look at some scheduling in the background. We can see Milwaukee and the Yankees are scoreless. The next batter for the Phillies will be Milt Thompson. Batted .251 in 86 with 6 homers and 23 ribbies. He's off to a .300 batting average in the replay. Thompson grounds one into the outfield for the base hit. Strawberry's going to make it. Thompson's going to go for 2, and he's safe. He's got it. It's a double for Thompson. That will bring up Juan Samuel. Batted .266 in 86, 16 homers, 78 ribbies. Batting .333 in the replay. Here's the pitch to Samuel from Darling, and he hits him. So Samuel's going to go to first. So that puts runners at first and second with 1 out. And now, with 2 runners on base, the batter you don't want at the plate is some bum by the name of Mike Schmidt. And as I said in the broadcast, maybe the top 5 third baseman in history. The man could definitely hit. Schmidt batted .290 that year in 86. He had 37 home runs, but he's off to a 125 average in the replay. Darling will make a regular pitch to him. And it's Thompson going for third, and he's got it. He's safe. It is a double steal. So runners go to second and third, and still 1 out. And Schmidt's still at the plate. And instead, I'm going to put Schmidt on and allow the intentional walk. And now we will pitch to Glenn Wilson. He batted .271, 15 homers, 84 RBIs. But the Phillies already have the Mets in a jam. Glenn Wilson already batting .333 in the replay. The infield will stay normal. We're trying to look for the double play. Here's the pitch to Wilson. Struck him out. Ron Darling gets a big strikeout. And now we will see Von Hayes. He batted .305 for the Phillies that year. One of their leading hitters. He had 19 home runs and 98 ribbies. He had a heck of a year in 86. He's batting .286 so far for the replay, only 2 for 7 in this replay. But Von Hayes, the batter, and against right-handers, he bats .340. So we try to get ourselves out of the jam. Ron Darling will slip it up. And Hayes hits one, and it will go foul. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch again from Darling. They'll do it again. Hayes pops one up to Strawberry, and he's got it, and the Mets get out of the jam. 1 complete, no score. We'll go to the top of the second. Gary Carter will lead off for the Mets. He's 1 for 4 for the replay. Gross hits it, and Carter hits it to Jeltz, and Jeltz will throw him out at first for the first out. 1 man down for Darryl Strawberry. He's 2 for 5 for the replay. 1 ribby. Here's the pitch. Strawberry lifts one to right. Wilson's got it, and there's 2 down. Now we'll see Danny Heap. Danny Heap is 0 for 0. And against right-handers, he bats .295, so I guess the reason why they had Heap bat. And here's the pitch to Danny Heap from Gross. Heap lines one into right field for a base hit. That'll be the first hit of the game for the Mets. And now we'll see Howard Johnson is 2 for 4 for the replay. Heap on at first, not a stealing threat, really. And here's the pitch. Johnson grounds one to Samuel, and he's going to throw to second to get the force out, and that will do it. No scores. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Here's Darren Dalton. I'm a little surprised. They actually have him wearing the new Phillies cap logo. I'm a little surprised, but then that's a little weird. But I guess it's how he was back then. How he was now, so they use the Phillies cap. Bottom of the second inning. Taking a look around the league, the Chicago Cubs and Pittsburgh, no score through the second. Darren Dalton batted .225 in 86, and he's 1 for 3 for the replay. Here's the pitch from Darling. Dalton hits one down the line, and that one is going, and that is gone. Aaron Dalton smacks a home run down to right field. That's his first home run of the season. And the Phillies will be on the board with a 1-0 lead. Here's Steve Jeltz. He batted .219 in the 86. 1 for 8 for the replay. Here's the pitch to Jeltz. Jeltz grounds one to Santana, and he's going to get him at first. That's one out. And now Kevin Gross the batter. That's a strikeout by Darling. That's his second strikeout of the game. And now Gary Reedus will bat. Reedus hits a fly ball to left, but Heap's got it. So 1 run, 1 hit, no errors after 2. The Phillies lead the Mets 1-0. We go to the top of the third. Rafael Santana will lead it off. Batted .218 for 86, but so far does not have a hit for the replay. He was the only batter to not get a hit in that game against the Pirates. Here's the pitch to Santana. And he hits one to Schmidt, who just easily tosses him out at first base for the first out. And now we'll see Ron Darling. Darling grounds one to Samuel. He throws to Hayes at first for the second out. And now here's Dykstra. Dykstra 0 for 1. And Dykstra will take a walk, which puts so it's a 2-out walk for the Mets. And now we'll see Wally Backman with 2. Dykstra is definitely a threat to steal. And Dalton has a 3 for an arm. Dykstra could probably steal this base, but with 2 outs, I think I'm just going to let Wally Backman hit. Here's the pitch to Backman. Backman hits one into the outfield for a base hit. Dykstra's going to go to third, and he's going to make it. A base hit to left center. Thompson tossed it back in, so the Mets have runners at first and third with 2 outs. And here's Keith Hernandez. A chance for Hernandez to maybe pick up a couple of big runs here. Runners at first and third. Kevin Gross on the mound. Here's the pitch. Hernandez hits one into the outfield for a base hit. That will score a run. Dykstra will score. Backman moves to third. Reedus tosses it back in, and the Mets tie it right back up. And still have runners at first and third, with now the kid coming up to bat, who's 0 for 1. Runners on first and third. Backman on at third. Hernandez at first. Carter the batter. There's the pitch from Gross. Carter grounds one to Jeltz, who's going to get him to Samuel, and that will end the inning. But 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. And the Mets and Phillies are tied at 1 as we go to the bottom of the third. Milt Thompson will bat for the Phillies. Milwaukee leads the Yankees 3-0, and so far in the second inning. We'll see if Ron Darling can settle down a little bit here as we go to the third. They'll pitch to Thompson, and he walked it. So Milt Thompson gets a leadoff walk for Philadelphia. And now the batter is Samuel. Thompson a bit of a threat to steal. Here's the pitch to Samuel. Samuel hits one into the outfield for a base hit. Heap is going to have to throw it into third. And so with nobody out, the Phillies now have runners at first and second for Mike Schmidt. Ron Darling settles in. Schmidt the batter. Here's the pitch. Schmidt hits one to center, but Dykstra's got it for the out. Thompson will try to tag, and Dykstra won't even make a throw. Thompson goes to third. Now the batter is Glenn Wilson with runners at first and third and 1 out. Here's the pitch to Wilson. And they're sorry for a steal attempt. Samuel will easily make it. So runners now at second and third and 1 out. Glenn Wilson the batter. And Von Hayes was definitely a tough player to get out. Here's the pitch. We're going to be a little aggressive as Darling's going to throw aggressive to Wilson. Here's the pitch. And it's a grounder into the outfield for a base hit. Wilson comes up with the big hit, and the Phillies retake the lead. It's now 2-1 as Thompson scores. So runners at first and third, still one out, and now here's Von Hayes. Here's the pitch. Hayes pops one up to center. Dykstra, he's got it. Samuel should tag, and he does. So 2 outs, but another run scores for the Phillies. It is now 3-1 with Darren Dalton coming up. Wilson on at first. Here's the pitch to Dalton. Dalton hits one into center. Dykstra's going to dive, and he makes the catch and ends the inning. But the Phillies get 2 runs on a couple of hits. The Phillies lead the Mets 3-1, so we go to the 4th inning now. Taking a look at the ticker, you see the Cubs now lead Pittsburgh 2-0 in the 4th. Darryl Strawberry leads off for the Mets. Strawberry hits one to right. Wilson on his horse, but he's got it. 1 out. Here's Danny Heap, who's 1 for 1. Heap hits one to center. Thompson should get there. 2 outs. And now Howard Johnson. Johnson pops this one up, and the question is who's going to get it. Is going to be Hayes or Samuel, and it's going to be Hayes. So a very quick inning for the Mets. Still down 3-1, bottom of the 4th. Seattle and Minnesota now getting underway. Steve Jeltz will lead it off for the Phillies. Remember, if you didn't watch my introductory video, remember the top 3 teams in each division will make the playoffs if they have a winning record. So get a winning record and you're in. If you're the top 3. Steve Jeltz leads off for the Phillies, and the reason why I did that is to make the season a little bit more interesting and a little bit more playoffs have a chance. So even if you're 10 or 20 games out, but if you're still within 2nd or 3rd of the division and you have a winning record, you can get in the playoffs, and we'll have at least about 4 rounds of playoffs. So we got a long way to go before we think about that. Steve Jeltz, the batter. Here's the pitch from Darling. Jeltz grounds one to Backman. Makes a great play and will throw him out at first. Wally Backman, one of the better fielders. And now we'll see Kevin Gross.
Strike 3.
And Darling puts him out nicely. That is the 3rd K for Darling. And now the batter is Reedus, who's 0 for 2. Reedus hits one to center, but Dykstra is there, so a quick inning for the Phillies. At the end of 4, it's Phillies 3, New York Mets 1. We go to the 5th. Milwaukee all over the Yankees 7-0. That was a tough year for the 1986 New York Yankees, where the Mets pretty much owned New York that year. The Yankees had a very tough season. And yet they still had some pretty good players on them. Top of the 5th, it will be Santana leading off against Gross. Gross pitching a heck of a game. He's only given up 3 hits and a walk. Here's the pitch to Santana. Santana grounds one to Jeltz. Easily tosses him out at first. 1 out. Ron Darling will bat. And he dribbles one to Schmidt, who should easily get him out. He does. That's the 2nd out. Pretty good crowd here at Veterans Stadium. And now here's Dykstra. Dykstra, 0 for 1 for the game. Dykstra grounds one to Jeltz. He throws to Hayes and gets him out. So a 1-2-3 inning for the Mets. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Here's Milt Thompson. Thompson 1 for 1 with a run scored and a stolen base. Here's the pitch to Thompson. Thompson hits one to center, but Dykstra's got it. 1 out. Juan Samuel, the batter. Samuel already has 2 steals today. He's tough to get off the base paths. Darling with the pitch, but this time he won't get that chance as Ron Darling picks up his 4th strikeout. And here's Schmidt. Schmidt 0 for 1. And Schmidt goes down on strike. So actually a pretty good inning for Ron Darling. And it's a 3-up, 3-down inning. Still 3-1 Phillies as we move to the 6th. Boston and the Chicago White Sox are now underway. They're the second, no score. Here's Backman to lead off for New York. We'll see if we can get something going here. The pitch to Backman. Backman grounds one up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. Backman will go to first and hold. And will now bring up Keith Hernandez. Backman, 82% chance to steal. They take, and it's a strike. Just below the belt, strike one. There goes Backman. The throw. Backman is safe with a stolen base. He gets his first steal of the season. But now, and 1 ball, 1 strike on Hernandez. Here's the pitch to Hernandez. Hernandez grounds one to Samuel. The only play is to first. Backman should get to third. And he'll hold there. 1 out, but a runner on third now for Gary Carter, who's 0 for 2. We'll see if Carter can get something going here for the Mets. Here's the pitch. Carter hits one right to Schmidt. He blasted a line drive to third, but Schmidt puts it away, and Backman has to hold, and now it's up to Strawberry. 0 for 2 for the game. Can Strawberry come through with a big hit? Strawberry hits one foul. They'll do it again. Here's the pitch to Strawberry. Strawberry hits one right back to Gross over to Hayes, and that will end the threat. Kevin Gross pitching a marvelous game, and it's still a 3-1 Phillies lead. Glenn Wilson leads off for the Phillies here in the bottom of the 6th. Wilson lifts one to right, all the way out, and that is a Garner home run for Glenn Wilson. Another solo shot given up by Ron Darling, and the Phillies now lead it 4-1. That's Wilson's first home run of the season. The batter now will be Von Hayes. Here's the pitch. Hayes hits one to center, but Dykstra's got it, 1 out. Here's Darren Dalton. He smacked a home run today as well. That was his first home run of the year. Here's the pitch to Dalton. Struck him out. And that is the 6th strikeout for Darling. And now the batter is Jeltz. Jeltz draws a walk. And now we'll see Kevin Gross. And you're up 4-1, so why would you not let him bat? Jeltz on first. Gross is the batter. See if Darling can get him out of the inning. And Carter's going to go talk to him. And he grounds one to Santana, who throws to Backman at second, and that will do it. But another home run gives the Phillies an extra run. 4-1 Philadelphia as we go to the 7th inning. Danny Heap, the batter for the leadoff against the Mets. Good pitching by Kevin Gross, a 1.5 ERA. So far as ERA is down, he's only got 4 hits and a walk. Here's the pitch to Heap. Heap hits one to right. Wilson's got it, 1 down. And now we'll see Howard Johnson. Johnson goes down on strikes, and now the batter is Santana. Santana dribbles one to Samuel. That's a routine play, and that will do it. So the Phillies are definitely having their way. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. This will probably be Ron Darling's last inning. So Darling looks fine. It will be Gary Reedus leading off for the Phillies. Here's the pitch to Reedus. And he hits one into the outfield for a base hit. Reedus will have to hold it first. And now we have Milt Thompson. We have Milt Thompson coming up. And Ron Darling, he's almost reached his pitch count. Reedus definitely a threat to steal. We'll try a pitch out. There goes Reedus. Here's the throw. And Reedus makes it anyway. So Carter fired down a second, not even close. And Reedus has another stolen base. Nobody out. Ron Darling trying to get out of this jam now. I'm going to let him pitch to Thompson. Here's a steal attempt. And Reedus steals third base. So Reedus goes to third now. So the Phillies are just running all over me. 2 balls now. And here's the pitch to Thompson. And Thompson goes down on strikes. That's the 7th strikeout for Darling. The batter now is Rafael Santana, but that's going to be it for Darling. We're going to go to the bullpen. Coming on to pitch for the Mets will be Rick Aguilera. Rick Aguilera in '86, 3.88 ERA. He was a spot starter as well, so he could start as well. But I'm going to bring Aguilera in for some long relief and try to get out of this inning. Only down 4-1. Reedus is the batter. Reedus is the third. Samuel at the plate. And I'm bringing the infield in, and here's the pitch to Samuel. Struck him out. Big strikeout by Rick Aguilera. And now the batter is Mike Schmidt. Rick Aguilera toes the rubber. We'll try to make the final. We'll try to get him out. Here's the pitch to Schmidt. Schmidt hits one right to Dykstra in the outfield, and that retires the side. The Mets get out of the jam. But the Phillies still lead 4-1 as we go to the 8th. Seattle and Minnesota tied at 4 so far, as you take a look at the ticker up top. Rick Aguilera is supposed to lead off, but of course we'll go to the bench. And coming on to bat for the Mets and making his first appearance will be Tim Teufel. Tim Teufel has a 245 and they're 253 against righties. So Tim Teufel will make his appearance. He batted 247 in 1986. He split time pretty much with Wally Backman a lot. Teufel did have 4 home runs. Maybe an average player, but Teufel actually did come through a couple of times throughout the season. Top of the 8th inning, though, Phillies lead 4-1. Kevin Gross pitching a gem. Here's the pitch to Teufel. Teufel grounds one to Jeltz. He should get him out, and he does. 1 out. Here's Lenny Dykstra, who's 0 for 2. Dykstra grounds one to Samuel. Throws to Hayes, and that should be the 2nd out. And it is. And now Wally Backman the bat. Backman 2 for 3 today. He's pretty much been the only player to really get to the Phillies. Here's the pitch. Backman grounds one to Samuel, and Samuel should get him out. And he does. Another quick inning. Still 4-1 Phillies. Glenn Wilson leads off. The Mets will go to the bullpen. And coming on to pitch for New York will be Randy Neiman. And he'll probably... Randy Neiman will actually pitch to Wilson. Even though Wilson is a right-handed batter and Neiman's a lefty. But I got 2 lefties coming up after him. Randy Neiman, a 3.79 ERA in '86, 2 wins, 3 losses. His WHIP was 1.5, so he gives up pretty much 3 hits every 2 innings. But let's see if he can keep it. Let's see if he can keep it down today. Here's the pitch to Glenn Wilson, leading off for Philadelphia, and he hits one to right. But Strawberry's got it, 1 down. And now we'll see Von Hayes. And he walks Von Hayes. So Hayes goes to first, and there's your whip right there. Walk and hits, Burning's pitched. So now the batter is Dalton, who already has a home run today. Here's the pitch to Dalton. Dalton hits one to Backman, to Santana, to Hernandez, and they turn the DP. At the end of 8, it's still 4-1 Phillies. We go to the top of the 9th inning. Atlanta leading Houston 3-1 so far on the ticket. Coming on to pitch for the Phillies will be Steve Bedrosian. 3.39 ERA in 86, 8 wins, 6 losses. He had 29 saves. Steve Bedrosian was their ace in the pen. The only problem with Bedrosian, though, a 1.251 whip, and he could be a little bit inconsistent. But it will be Keith Hernandez leading off for the Mets. Here's the pitch to Hernandez. Hernandez hits one to fly ball to Reedus, who makes the play, 1 out. Here's Gary Carter. Carter pops one up. Looks like Jeltz is probably going to grab it. He's got it, 2 outs. And now the last chance for New York is Strawberry. Here's the pitch to Strawberry. Strawberry hits one into right field for a base hit. The ball game's not over yet. Strawberry will hold it first and will bring up Danny Heap. Danny Heap, though, bats only .083 against lefties, but he's .295 against the rights. We'll see if Danny Heap can make a play. Strawberry on it first. Here's the pitch from Bedrosian. Heap hits one to Jeltz. That should pretty much do it. It's a poor play by Steve Jeltz. Does Heap still get there? And he doesn't. He's safe. And Strawberry will go. It's an error. The throw went past first. So Strawberry goes to third. Heap goes to second. So Steve Jeltz gets a huge error. And the Mets have a chance with the time run at the plate in Howard Johnson. Howard Johnson at the plate. Runners at second and third. The Mets are making it interesting in this ball game. The question is, can Howard Johnson, he's 0 for 3, can he come through with a big hit? Bedrosian, the pitcher, lines up. Can Johnson make the play? Here's the pitch. And Johnson strikes out, and that's your ball game as Philadelphia will knock off the Mets. So Ron Darling picks up a tough loss, goes to 0-1 on the season, although he had 7 strikeouts. But Kevin Gross was masterful in this game. He gets his first win of the season, will go to 1-0, and Steve Bedrosian gets his second save. So a tough loss here for the Mets, but they'll be back at it again against Philadelphia in the next game. So we'll see if we can even up the series. Taking a look at the batting, we can see that Backman and Heap were the only ones that had multiple hits. Backman and Heap had 2 hits. Hernandez and Strawberry had 1, but Kevin Gross was just unbelievable. He shut down the Mets completely. I'm going to give the Golden Bat Award for the Phillies. I'm going to give it to Glenn Wilson. He was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a homer. So he gets the Golden Bat Award for the Phils. But Kevin Gross, I probably will give him the player of the game. He only gave up 1 run and scattered a few hits. Well, that's it for this ball game. We'll see you next time as the Mets we'll have game 2 against the Philadelphia Phillies. Final score here, Philadelphia 4, Mets 1. See you next time, everybody.